this is Tammy, and I am in my Element, my Honda Element, and I want to talk today about the trick that can be used sometimes to get ourselves to do the things that we want to do that we don't seem to be able to implement or follow through with, or those types of things. One of the most common conversations that I have with clients in my clinic every week, in my physiotherapy clinic, is this conversation about, I want to be making better choices. I want to be exercising regularly. I want to be doing my rehab homework. I want to be eating better. And I'm not able to prioritize that. I'm not able to fit it in, and I don't know why. Or sometimes people do know why. They're like, yeah, I got really busy, blah blah blah. And so one of the greatest sort of powerhouses that we can use to our advantage is necessity. So what does that mean? Necessity fuels urgency, and urgency fuels action. So necessity, if something is necessary, then we might be scared, we might be not sure how this is going to turn out, we might be like, yeah, I don't really have any other choice. It feels like we just have to do it. And so the feeling of having something be such a necessity that like the urgency is there, it has to be done, we don't have any other choice. It's not a great feeling to be forced into, for sure. So, for example, after my divorce, I moved myself and kids to a new city, about 45 minutes to an hour away. That necessity to be in the same city as them while they were in school, my work had sort of gradually brought me from the town we were living in into a city where I was required to be at the office and traveling from there. And it wasn't working for my kids and I to be living in this little town and me actually spending most of my work days in this city that was like an hour away in case of emergency, or if they were sick, or if I wanted to go to an assembly or something like that. And so that was super scary, to move to a new city, start over, new house, new neighborhood, new schools, all those things. It was really hard, but it was a necessity. And the urgency was there because the timing of like them starting school and all that kind of stuff. So it really just was like, okay, I have to do this. So necessity also sometimes comes in the form of, a health crisis, where someone gets a diagnosis or an injury or something like that, and this action now, what we need to do to take care of that becomes like, well, we don't have any choice. We don't have the option to lay the priority over here. The necessity is creating urgency, and that urgency produces action. So when we don't have something big that's forcing us into having this necessity, it has to be done, and it has to be done, now, or has to be started now, or it has to be a thing that we continue on with. We can kind of create that in a way. So let's say, I want to start a new business, or I want to, create a new exercise habit, or I want to stick to an eating plan or whatever. I want to encourage you to look at that in terms of, how can I create necessity around this thing that I intend to do, that I want to do so much, that we have to create this necessity around it. It's necessary for me to do this exercise program. I'm going to, go for a walk 3 times a week, and I'm going to go to the pool once a week, or whatever it is that is your thing. Or I want to, get a new job, or whatever that is. It's necessary for me because it will provide learning opportunities for me. It will align with my goals. It will create an environment in which I can grow to be my best self. It will promote, bone density and muscle mass that's going to help me be the active senior that I want to be. Whatever those things are, I encourage you to sort of really tease that out and write down what it is about that is necessary and that you can keep going back to. So that creates alignment with who you want to be, how you want to live your life, where you want to go, what you want to do, all those types of things. You sort of construct the necessity of it. And necessity, we are wired in terms of our nervous system. Once our brain recognizes this is necessary to me, this is important to me because, and we name those things, then the urgency of like, okay, well, I've just said to myself, this is important, this is what I want to do, this is why, and okay, we can now sort of feel that forward momentum. It even feels different in the body. That urgency, then it doesn't feel like an emergency, but that urgency of like, okay, let's do this. And then that comes the action. So the action items then can be, okay, how do I do that? How can I pair this habit with something I already do reliably, like brush my teeth? Or where can I fit this into my routine so it becomes just the thing we do on Tuesday? Tuesday is the day that I blah, blah, blah. So the action then becomes easier to plan, to construct, to really look at from a solution-based point of view about how can I then do this for myself. And then when we don't feel the motivation or the desire or the, if you're like, it's you can go back then to the necessity list that you made. This is necessary because, this is important because to me, this is what I'm going to get out of this. This is what it's going to do for me. And you can retrieve some of that urgency. So it helps to use as a little trick to help almost create, that emotion of urgency and drive to stick with it, to do those things that we set out that we want to do. And so that's my little thought for the day. It's something that I use for myself because I don't feel motivated all the time. I don't. And living with difficulty, stress, persistent pain, fatigue, whatever that is, becomes very taxing to stay on task or on plan or on schedule, day after day, week after week. So I like to use these little tricks to kind of get myself either staying on track or, getting back on track. So I hope this is useful to you. And sorry, my car is super noisy today. But I'm going to leave you with that. Let me know what your thoughts are on that, and if you can sort of get some use out of it, practice it, and I'll do the same.